Welcome back and welcome to March, now the official beginning of meteorological spring. So want to take a look back at not only February but the entire winter of 2019-2020. It was a mild one, and looking ahead as well. So let's take a look at the big picture, and we do have some weather to talk about as well. But let's take a look at some of the climate trends that we've noticed during the course of the last month. February, for the most part, above normal for the first 2/3 of the month. Then the latter part of the month, we were cooler than normal, but we still wound up being about 2 degrees above normal, which was actually still 5.5 degrees cooler than last February. We had a super mild February last year. It was one of the top 2 or 3, if I remember correctly, and only one freeze in the month of February. And then I went ahead and plotted up the temperatures for this entire winter, well, at least for December, January, and February. That's meteorological winter for us, and we wound up being about 3.2 degrees above normal for the entire winter. Only 2 light freezes in Lafayette, 1 in December, none in January, and then 1 in February. And the coldest weather we saw, at least for the cold weather season, were actually 3 freezes in mid-November, and we had that 25-degree reading on November 13th, and that was coldest for the winter. In fact, mild winter, yeah, and that has been the trend per our friends at Climate Central. You just go back over the last 50 years, we see our temperature steadily rising during the course of winters, over 2 degrees in the last 50 years, so we're warming up for sure. And 2.1 degrees above normal going over the last 50 years. We've seen that trend on the rise going into spring, and guess what? The outlook for March is for above normal temperatures for our area with slightly below normal rains, and that's good news because we have a wet weather system on the way. That low pressure system, upper level low out here in California, is going to energize the subtropical jet stream, the atmosphere moistening up. Already seeing that with some scattered showers tonight, and that trend will continue next couple of days. Few spotty showers across the area, and we're going to keep these rains in the area tonight. We'll keep rain chance or at least enough rain to wet the ground at about 50%, but very light shower activity tonight, which should taper as we head toward tomorrow morning. We see that on the RPM Futurecast here. Some showers through tomorrow, overnight tonight through pre-dawn hour. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, mild day. We start out in the mid-60s, top out in the mid-70s, and might see a peek of the sun from time to time. Then it gets a little bit more interesting going into Tuesday. We start to see a little bit of a warm front developing, but that's going to lead to scattered showers, maybe a thunder rumble or two, but we're not looking at severe weather here. But as we head into Wednesday, notice the shower activity picks up. We have an area of low pressure that's going to be in the western Gulf of Mexico and moving eastward, and will likely give us a good soaking. And there's a severe weather potential as well. Here's the Euro model, and we'll take a look at the frontal boundaries as well. But going into Wednesday morning, the threat of severe weather across Texas into western Louisiana perhaps, and then it may refocus closer to us. If we're in the warm sector of this low, we'll have to wait and see. But the bottom line, we're going to get a good soaking with this low pressure system, and it'll take a solid day to get out of here, and then drier air. And we finish off next week looking really good, and going into next weekend looks quite favorable as well. As for rainfall, here's the European model with the rains on Wednesday, going with a good soaking of 2, perhaps 3 inches of rain. And the latest RPM model with the low pressure a little bit farther to the south gives us a good soaking as well. Through Tuesday, about 1/3, maybe a 1/2 inch of rain, and then we get into Wednesday, just through 6 p.m. We're going to have more rain than this, but a solid 3-inch rainfall. So we'll have to watch for localized street flooding and the potential, maybe a low-end threat of flooding, but hopefully things will be moving along. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild day. Temperatures top out in the mid-70s. Slight chance of a passing shower. There, we got it out. We'll be looking at rain chances, though, ramping up to 60% on Tuesday and then 100% on Wednesday. And as we go into the latter part of next week, looking better, but the threat of some soaking rains and maybe a severe weather threat as well will redefine and define that severe weather threat and be a little bit more accurate on that come tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Rob.